Tokyo Revengers, one of the most popular anime this summer season, and one of the hottest newcomers in 2021, but how good is it really? This one I feel is incredibly divided, since I had many claim it is a new GOAT among the most recent stuff, and some say it's really stupid. Obviously, there is only one season out at the moment. To be more specific, 20 episodes of the first season at the moment I'm recording, so I'm going to judge it by that. Let's start with the plot, although I'm sure most of you already know it, so I'ma keep it brief. Takemichi, who is in his mid-20s, is a loser until he gets isekai'd into a magical world with a harem just waiting for him. Although Takemichi was quite unlucky in the isekai draw because he got teleported back into the past, and instead of hot girls waiting for him, he has a whole ass gang and lot of punches in his face waiting for him. With the objective of saving his former girlfriend from dying in the future, which turns into also saving his homies, which turns into also saving his dog, which turns into also saving his barber, and also saving his belongings. Scratch that last one. So, with the help of time travel, he tries to save the day, but what is good and what is bad in this show? The cast. The cast, or more precisely the side characters, as I will be speaking about the main protagonist in a second. The cast is undoubtedly one of the biggest strengths in Tokyo Revengers, the strongest two being Mikey and Draken. The whole cast is trimmed to have a rather cool and badass character in the show, with a few exceptions of course. Firstly, the character design is quite unique and cool for some of the characters. Secondly, the bond of characters like Takemichi and his friends, or Mikey, Draken, Baji and the former gang, it's all rather interesting and wholesome. The antagonist of the show this far is also solid, as Kisaki isn't just a bad guy who punches really hard, but has unknown motives this far and good and manipulative ways of reaching his goal. And hey, he is successful like 90% of the time and can only be stopped by literal time travel. What is kinda bad for me is how similar the characters are, and don't misunderstand me, how less depth the characters have so far, which can easily change in the second season, but this far most of them are like, I love my friends, but fuck everyone else's face. The main character. That's where the main character comes in though. Takemichi is the complete opposite of everyone else in this story. He is weak physically but also emotionally in the beginning. It's cool to see another perspective on everything, and he is something you can relate to. Yes, maybe he is crying a little bit too much for your taste, but let's be real, this is how every one of us would act. None of you would act like Mikey in this show. Don't try and lie to yourselves. His determination to save the past and people's lives make up for his cowardness, and is actually interesting to see how he handles being a teen a second time. He of course had terrible teenage years, getting used as a punching bag, not standing up for himself and running away from his problems until they become even worse. Not everyone had such a shitty childhood, but everyone has regrets he did back then he wishes to undo, and just because he gets a second chance doesn't mean it's an easy thing to do. He still has to stand up for himself, he still gets punched until he passes out, he still needs to face his fears, and while saving Hina, his girlfriend also plays a role into him changing. He also does it for himself, because he has had enough of all that. Frankly, I cannot understand why people claim he is a bad protagonist, or the show would be better without him. I hardly disagree. Takemichi is a big point why this show is so successful. Yes, maybe your favorite character is Mikey or Draken, someone else, but guess what? If Takemichi was also a badass strong character, they would just seem less cooler than they do right now. The show would be boring, wouldn't it? Writing this had actually made me realize that Takemichi is my favorite character in the show, because he has so much character and so many cool characteristics. And I think he also gets his cool shining moments. Like, come on. Like, of course, Mikey gets to punch 10 people in the face at once, but Takemichi also has his moments. Next point. The amount of good anime this spring/summer. This may be a stretch, but I think this is something worthy to talk about, because in my eyes, this also plays a huge role in why Tokyo Revengers is so successful. Now, I heard many people say the manga is incredible, but only judging by the anime, Tokyo Revengers is solid, maybe good. And if it was published in any other season, for example, I remember the season when Jujutsu Kaisen dropped was pretty stacked. If Tokyo Revengers had dropped then, it would mean way less popularity, and I mean way less popularity. Because what did actually drop in spring or summer even? Many people were talking about titles like 86 or Taxi or Nagatoro, and while they may have been good shows, I don't remember shows that are on the smaller stage of popularity. Again, this says nothing about the quality, but the level of hype and popularity has been way smaller the last two anime seasons. Also, we had big franchises like My Hero Academia delivering their worst season so far. So Tokyo Revengers, which was arguably one of the most popular ones out of the bunch, got a lot more spotlight than it would have otherwise. I think the same will happen to Chainsaw Man when it will drop in fall, to be honest. Of course, I made a video about good shows to get hyped for, like Komi-san or Blue Period or Platinum End, which are amongst the most anticipated shows of the fall, and they may be good shows, but let's be honest, probably most of the anime community has never heard anything from these shows. So I think if Chainsaw Man gets published in fall, it will dominate the season and get big attention. Potentially sharing the attention with One Piece, as we also enter the hype stage of Wano in the anime, it will be big. But I digress. The negative point, the time travel. Okay, this might be only me, maybe I have a brain lag or something, but I have seen no one else talk about it, has been bothering me for a while. But the time travel kinda doesn't make any sense, right? Sure, most of the time traveling in movies or shows have some cracks, but this one is like one of the worst. Okay, Takemichi shakes Naoto's hand and everything he does affects the future and he returns to that changed future, right? Fine, people like Akun in the future change in the different versions, but Naoto and Takemichi don't change at all. Like how? How does Naoto still remember all the process they made after Takemichi changed the past so that there never was the problem Naoto told him about? Listen, Takemichi goes to the past, changes the future, and now Naoto still acts like everything was like the future he was in before, if I can make myself clear. Also, how does Naoto even know that they made a rescue mission for his sister when his sister was still alive but died when Takemichi was back in the present? How is Takemichi still the same dude? Like, didn't he run away because he was a slave to some random delinquents of Toman? Well, now he is an official member of Toman, so why should he do the exact same thing again? Like, the exact same things to be in this situation. Don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but it's kinda weird for me and it's hella bugging me, not gonna lie. The over-the-top fights and killing, especially for high schoolers. Are the fights in Tokyo Revengers objectively good? Yes, they are. However, they are way too over the top. Of course, they are delinquents, so I expect them to beat the shit out of each other. And it's anime, so of course there is gotta be one dude who can take on 20 dudes by himself. That's not the problem here. Still, if you see how some people get the shit punched out of them with bats crashing regularly against their head, it's kinda getting ridiculous. Like, they are literally healed the next day, most of the cases as well. Also, what's this obsession with wanting to kill your opponent? Most of them are in high school and be acting like Frieza. It kinda doesn't make any sense. It's a bit too extreme. But if the anime wasn't about teenagers that live a normal compared to other anime, life, it wouldn't bug me as much. For fuck's sakes, Mikey is 15, Takemichi is 14 and Draken is 16. Remember what you did when you were 15? Certainly not being the head of a delinquent gang. All in all, these last two are my main complaints though. And Tokyo Revengers is still a really good show, I think. And definitely my favorite one this season. I enjoy watching it a lot, sure, it's not the most complex story or shines with the best animation or anything, but you will be entertained and it has its moment definitely. And according to the manga readers, it's getting really, really good, so I'm excited for the potential second season or maybe the last 5 or so episodes that will air. Yeah, but thank you for your attention for this video. This was me only reviewing or saying my opinion on the first 20 episodes. If you have another opinion, comment it down below in the comment section. Also, like the video, subscribe so you don't miss another video. And yeah, bye!